Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 7.4, Note, Day 3. Today we're going to be talking about factoring sums and differences of two cubes. Our learning target today is to be able to factor sums and differences of two cubes. Now, a binomial represents a difference of two squares, and when you factor them, they use this pattern. So, a binomial, difference of two squares, it looks like that. And when you factor it, it turns to a plus b and a minus b. Okay, we've done that before. Okay, and the perfect squares, after taking geometry, you guys should know the perfect squares. Okay, 1, 4, 9, 16. Be like, oh, Mr. Grace, where am I getting these? 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. The next one's 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared. Guys, you should know, for this class, you should know at least all the way up to 12, but in geometry, they should have taught you all the way up to 25. Okay, so 5 squared is 25, then 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144, and that list keeps on going. Okay, so let's look at the first example. You have 4x squared minus 49y squared. Now, we always ask ourselves, is there a GCF? No. Okay. And now, is it the difference of two squares? Yes. 1, because it's subtraction. So, we've got 4x squared, that's going to give us 2x and 2x. One of these is plus and the other is minus. And then 49, the square root of 49 is 7. And the square root of y squared is y. So that's where we get 2x plus 7y and 2x minus 7y. All right, the next example. Is there a GCF? Yes, you always take the GCF out first. Okay, and then you're left with m squared minus 9. Now, is 9 on your list? It is. Okay, that means we can take the square root of that. So when we factor it out, it's m plus 3, m minus 3. Okay. Let's go through the next part. Now, if a binomial represents a sum of two cubes, factor using this pattern. The key thing is pattern. All of these are going to be patterns. Okay? Now, when we factor a binomial that's cubes, right, it's going to turn into a binomial and a trinomial. Okay, and now the way this works is it's going to be a plus b, and then it's a squared minus ab plus b squared. And that's just the pattern, okay? Just know that we went to plus, minus, plus. And this is going to be one of the things that we're just going to have to memorize, okay? Just memorize the pattern. We got to get used to itself. So, when we're talking about cubed roots, okay? If we've got a cubed, the cubed root of that, that's what we're doing. Those cancel, and we get a, okay? and that's called the cube root. Now, the perfect cubes are just like the perfect squares, where it's 1 cubed, it's 2 cubed, 3 cubed, 4 cubed, 5 cubed, 6 cubed, okay? 1 cubed is just 1. 2 to the third, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which gives you 8. 3 times 3 times 3, that's 27, okay? 64, 125, 216, and it goes on and on and on, okay? So, let's go ahead and work on this. Now, the cube root of x cubed is just x. And the cubed root of y cubed is y. Okay, so the first thing that we did was we kind of took the cubed root of each one of those, okay? So, and that is the cubed root. Now, all we're going to do is follow the pattern. So in the pattern, that's the A, and that's the B, okay? Plus, minus, plus, that stays the same, okay? So, if you need to write out this is A, that's B, A squared, A times B, B squared, okay? So, A is just X. Actually, we're going to use colors for this. So, A is X, and B is what? Well, B is Y, okay? Now, A squared would just be X squared. A times B would just be X times Y, and then B squared is what the Y was, Y squared. So all we did was just fill in the numbers that we had, which were right here, and we filled them into the pattern. All right, let's do another one, okay? Now, is there a GCF? You always check if there's a GCF first. All right, and there's no GCF for those numbers. So for each one of these, you're taking the cubed root, okay? 27, we've got it right here, is 3, and then m cubed is m. Cubed root of 125 is 5, and the n cubed, the cube root of that is n. Okay, and now same thing. Just follow the pattern. It's plus, minus, plus. If you still need to, if you want to write which one's A and which one's B, A squared, that's A times B, and then B squared. So, 3m, 5n. Okay, that's the first thing that we did. Now, a squared, well, that's 3m times 3m, which gives us 9m squared. Okay, now a times b, well, a is 3m times 5n. Well, that's going to give us 15mn. Okay, you're multiplying those together. Okay, and the last one, b squared, is 5n times 5n, which gives us 25n squared. Okay? Now, I know this might seem complicated at first, but it's just a pattern. The more we get used to it, the easier it's going to be. Okay? Now, if a binomial represents a difference of two cubes, then we're going to use this pattern. Okay? So if it's a cubed minus b cubed, it's going to be a minus b, and then a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so the letters are all the same, it's just the signs are different. So that's all we got to be careful with. Okay, so just like the last one, there's no GCF, so you take the cubed root of each one of those. Okay, it's minus, plus, plus. And now you just fill in the blanks. Okay, got x and y, x squared plus xy plus y squared. And that's it. Okay. Now, you really don't have to memorize it because there's going to be a sign in the front of the classroom. It's just you got to get used to the pattern. Okay? Now, is there GCF first? And this one there is. We can pull out an 8. Okay, so the 8 comes out front, and then we're left with m cubed minus 8. And is it the difference of two cubes? Yeah, because it's in our list right there. So we're going to come down. We're going to take the cubed root of all of that. That 8 is still up front. That's part of our answer. Okay? Minus, plus, plus. Right? If you still want to write a squared, a times b, and b squared, we know that the cubed root of m is just m, and the cubed root of 8 is 2. So this is just m times m, which is m squared, m times 2, which is going to give you 2m, and then 2 times 2, 4. So then your final answer is all of that. Okay? So just pay attention to the pattern, guys. If you need assistance, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, that's going to be it for Algebra 2, Chapter 7.4 Notes, Day 3. Thanks for watching.